Have you ever felt completely frozen because you wanted your first project to be absolutely perfect? Well, you're not alone. Today, we are discussing begin now, refine later. Start your dream project today. Welcome to Wisdom GemsHunta, where we share wisdom for thriving in a changing world. You can't improve what you have not started. Your first attempt at anything, be it a video, a piece of writing, a product, or any creative work, is probably not going to be your masterpiece. And that's okay. Let's break down why that is. Your first version is your starting line, not the finish line. It's where learning kicks off. The longer you wait to start, the longer you delay your learning curve. It's like wanting to run a marathon without taking the first step. Let me share a story about the world-famous author, J.K. Rowling, and the journey of her first book, Harry Potter. Rowling, who was then a struggling writer, faced numerous rejections from publishers. In fact, her manuscript was turned down 12 times. Publishers told her there was no money in children's books, and that she should get a day job. But she didn't give up. She believed in the world she had created. Finally, the manuscript was accepted by a small publisher, Bloomsbury, mainly because the CEO's 8-year-old daughter fell in love with it. From these humble, challenging beginnings, Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, spawning movies, merchandise, and theme parks. But it all started with a rejected manuscript and an author who wouldn't give up on her dream. This story teaches us that perfection is a journey, not a starting point. Rowling's first draft wasn't perfect. It faced criticism and rejection. But it was her commitment to improving and persisting that ultimately led to her phenomenal success. Many of us have this misconception that we need to be perfect from the get-go. But here's the truth. Every great project, every successful person you admire, started with a rough, far from perfect first attempt. Think about it. The first iPhone wasn't perfect. The first Harry Potter manuscript was rejected multiple times. The point is, they started. And that's what we're focusing on today. Now, I know what's stopping you. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. But let me tell you, fear is the dream killer, not failure. Failure is just a stepping stone. It's the best teacher you'll ever have. To give you more perspective, let's hear from some successful people who embraced their early failures as stepping stones to greatness. Walt Disney said, "I think it's important to have a good hard failure when you're young. I learned a lot out of that. Because it makes you kind of aware of what can happen to you. Because of it, I've never been afraid to try something new." Oprah Winfrey said this, "I was once demoted from my job as a news anchor, and I thought that was the end of my career. But it was just the beginning. Getting fired led me to my true calling, and I found that success was the best revenge." Steve Jobs said, "I didn't see it then, but getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life." J.K. Rowling also said, "I had failed on an epic scale. An exceptionally short-lived marriage had imploded, and I was jobless, a lone parent, and as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain, without being homeless. Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, an acclaimed Nigerian writer whose work has been translated into over 30 languages, Chimamanda said in one of her famous talks, she mentioned, "After several rejections, I got a publishing deal, and that book did well. But it would not have happened if I had not first failed at getting published. I learned from that failure. It taught me resilience. It taught me to keep writing even when I was rejected." The point is that we all have to start somewhere, and it's okay to start small, to grow and to persist. Instead of giving up, they all chose to learn from their failures, to grow, and to persevere. Their stories remind us that failure isn't the end, it's often the beginning of something greater. So, when you find yourself facing challenges or when that voice in your head tells you you're not good enough, remember these stories. Remember that every master was once a beginner, and every success story started with a simple act of courage, to begin. So, how do you begin? First, break down your project into small, manageable tasks. Start with something easy, something achievable. Second, set realistic deadlines. And third, embrace feedback. Share your work with someone you trust, learn from their insights. Finally, your first attempt at anything is a learning opportunity, not a final product. The most important thing is that you start. So, what's that project you've been putting off? I challenge you to take the first step today. Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's support each other in this journey. Don't forget, begin now, refine later. You have something unique to offer the world, and it's waiting for your first step. Thank you for watching, and remember to hit like and subscribe for more videos like this. Keep creating, keep striving, and I'll see you in the next one.